Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Bruce Frisco. It is Wednesday, the 29th day of April. This is CTV News. Tonight, charges are laid in connection with a massive diesel spill at a gas station in Woodstock. For the birds, how a health center and a community college are dealing with problematic visitors. And a blessing disguised as a tourist saves a man connection to the curse of Oak Island.
Live from our Maritime's News Center, this is CTV News. Here is Bruce Frisco.
Good evening. Nearly a year and a half after the fact, the New Brunswick government has laid charges after a massive diesel spill in Woodstock. Along with Irving Oil, Grant Enterprise Limited is also named in the charges, which are basically releasing a contaminant into the environment and failure to report a leak or possible leak of petroleum. And this was a large leak. The story broke in December of 2024. A restaurant near a gas station in Woodstock noticed a strong smell of fuel in their well water. Didn't take long to trace the problem to a failure in the fuel storage system at the gas station. It turned out to be a crack in what's called a remote fill elbow. The extent of the problem became clear the more environmental crews dug. In the end, they recovered about 180,000 liters of diesel and presumably a lot of contaminated soil. Government says it's still monitoring and remediating the affected area. You may also remember the incident prompted a province-wide survey of other gas stations to make sure the same thing wasn't happening elsewhere. We should tell you, we reached out to Irving Oil for comment on the charges, but did not get a response before news time today. Searchers spent the day looking for a missing hiker in the Cape Breton Highlands.
The following is a message from the Canadian National Public Alerting System.
Missing vulnerable person. Faye Lifford, 75. Musquodoboit Harbour, Halifax Regional Municipality, Nova Scotia. Last seen at 5:30 p.m. in the Musquodoboit Harbour Railway area. Lifford is described as 5'2", 160 pounds, grey hair. Last seen wearing green parka. Check yards. Call 911 with tips. Info and photo on RCMPNS, Facebook, X, website.
The primary care is paying off. As of April 1st, around 6% of Nova Scotians, nearly 62,000 people, remain on the Need a Family Practice wait list. That's down from around 9% last year. Department of Health and Wellness's top bureaucrat says the wait list has evolved.
But I think we have to remember that in 2021, there really wasn't a methodology. There was a spreadsheet with people's names on it.
But opposition argue the new methodology changes what attached means, and the disagreement centers around patients previously identified as pending attachment are now considered attached, even when they may not have had an appointment with the doctor or healthcare team.
They've changed the goalpost entirely. They've created a waiting room, essentially, for Nova Scotians, and they aren't able to say how many people are sitting in that waiting room waiting.
The NDP agree and raise similar concerns around patients who have been assigned to a primary healthcare clinic that had yet to open its doors.
Folks were being attached months ahead of time, before the site was even complete, before recruitment had been completed, as far as I understand. And so they were confused.
Health officials disagree, saying attachment doesn't mean a first appointment has happened. They argue it's when a patient has been assigned to a healthcare provider.
And calling our people attached when they have been given a health home and an assigned location, and that particular practice has been informed that they're being added to their actual list. I think that's a pretty accurate way to talk about being attached.
The next update to the patient registry is expected in early May. Jesse Thomas, CTV News, Halifax.
And just before we continue, you may have seen an emergency alert just a moment ago. This is about a vulnerable person in the Musquodoboit Harbour area, according to Halifax Regional Police. Faye Lifford is 75 years old, last seen in the Musquodoboit Harbour Railway area. She's 5'2", 160 pounds, with gray hair, last seen wearing a green parka. Police are asking you to check your yards and your properties and call 911 with tips. The New Brunswick government says health care is its top priority and insists it is making progress on hitting the target. But as CTV's Nick Moore tells us tonight, even the Premier and the Health Minister concede there are some areas where they expected more progress.
There have been some bumps to work out.
Today, Premier Holt and Health Minister Dr. John Dornan gave an update on flagship healthcare promises, with collaborative healthcare clinics being one of the biggest. The clinic in Tantramar has so far taken 277 people off the wait list, with the target being 1,000 people.
You know, early in my mandate, I thought, well, collaborative care clinics are going to fix everything. It's not quite that simple. They go a long way, but there's lots of care opportunities adjacent to that.
Progress is being made, but we still face real challenges. You'll have heard me describe challenges on data, challenges with space, challenges to move as quickly as we would like, as we still see turnover of healthcare professionals.
Holt says there has been positive movement on recruitment.
Ending March 31st of 2026, we had the highest net increase in physicians in the province's history at 67. The nurse turnover at Horizon in particular has improved significantly and stabilized at 0.93%.
Holt says $10,000 retention bonuses have helped. Paula Doucette is president of the New Brunswick Nurses Union.
I think the retention payments have played a small role. Absolutely. But I think there's other factors too. I think that, you know, the fact that the province and regional health authorities are out there recruiting.
Nick Moore, CTV News, Fredericton.
Get the Maritime's top stories, breaking news alerts, and watch live. Download the CTV News app.
You can add the Cape Breton Seal Island Bridge now to the long list of maritime bridges that are facing traffic delays in the days and weeks ahead. Starting today, the span between Bullardre Island and Kelly's Mountain will be reduced to one lane. That is in effect until the 5th of June. Workers are replacing 5 of the bridge's 7 joints. The Seal Island Bridge is more than 60 years old. Just a few years ago, the province announced work to extend its life for another 10 or 15 years before replacing it altogether. Bit of a surprise from what has been the fastest growing city in Canada for the past couple of years. Building permits in Moncton are down for the first quarter of 2026. 176 permits have been issued so far, most of them for downtown housing developments, but the value of those permits is about $85 million less than what it was for the same period last year, which notably was also a record.
The number is way above the 2017 to 2024 number, which was 17 million, ranging up to 57 million. We are looking at the numbers, obviously, but it's not the record-breaking year that we had last year, but it's way above average than the previous 10 years.
$86 million in residential permits have been issued since the start of the year. That represents 472 new homes for the hub city. And a new survey suggesting a growing number of Maritimers feel that home ownership is all but slipping away. The survey by Abacus Data found 77% of people believe housing in their area is unaffordable. The Nova Scotia Association of Realtors commissioned that study.
37% of Nova Scotians are optimistic that home ownership is attainable in the future. 40% are pessimistic to somewhat pessimistic that home ownership is attainable.
Nearly 9 in 10 residents view housing as a concern with respect to affordability and availability. So it is a top tier issue among residents. 3/4 say housing in their area is not affordable today.
The Realtors Association says the younger generation, people aged 24 to 35 in particular, feel that home ownership is in fact becoming completely out of reach. A Nova Scotia Health Center and a community college are dealing with unique pest problems right now, specifically birds. CTV's Callum Smith has the details.
All is quiet on this Dartmouth Community College campus right now, but a few times a week for a couple weeks, that's not the case.
They let off a bit of a loud bang. It's between 110 and 120 decibels up on the roof. Of course, that gets a little louder as you travel downhill. The campus is on a hill, and there's some whistling sound as well.
They are a pest control company trying to prevent seagulls from nesting on the roof, specifically around ventilation systems.
It's a critical time for them nesting. We're trying to prevent that from happening up on our roof so we can perform the work that we need to do up there on a routine basis.
That's because last year there was a nest with 3 young seagulls that called the roof home.
Bird droppings, as they dry, they can aerosolize, and then those particles get into the HVAC system or air intakes of buildings, and we could be breathing those in, which could be harmful to people, in addition to just their corrosive nature.
At the Bears Lake Outpatient Center in Halifax, the problem is geese. These decoy coyotes will be set up along with reflective material to keep them away. Nova Scotia Health didn't want to talk about how bad things are.
If they're nesting, they can be quite aggressive, protecting their nest. But if they're just hanging out in our juvenile geese, they're not too much of a problem, other than they do leave a lot of droppings behind.
This might come as a surprise, but both gulls and geese are protected species, making the job of getting rid of them much more difficult. Callum Smith, CTV News, Halifax.
Moncton is getting a new facility to help the homeless and people with mental health issues. The group home is located in Salisbury. It will offer support through a joint project between the provincial government and some alternative residences. The province purchased the building as part of a program to cut homelessness by 40% over a 4-year period.
The 40% reduction in chronic homelessness is a big deal. It will be a difficult target to hit. The train was speeding in the opposite direction, and it's not as simple for us to say, to stop the train and turn it around. We've got to build a whole new set of tracks in the other direction. Projects like this help.
It really is intended to be a very comfortable home for people that are living with mental illness. Because it's important for us to provide supportive housing for people who are really looking to get their lives back into a different place. And we'll work with them on those objectives.
The facility is open to men and women and is scheduled to open next month. Okay, still to come tonight, Kaylin's full forecast, and we'll tell you how a Maritime community decided to tackle their litter problem on their own. Coming up next, though, taking flight.
The demand across Canada is going to be robust.
More options for air travel around here. That's always good news. We'll share it with you when we come back. Air passengers in St. John will soon have some more options. Porter Airlines has just announced some new flights and easier connections. As CTV's Avery McRae tells us tonight, travelers have Montreal to thank.
A quiet board of flight information at the St. John Airport. But soon travelers will have more options out of YSJ.
For the community, it's great. It's essentially a Porter Network flight.
Starting June 15th, Pascan Aviation, in partnership with Porter Airlines, will fly twice weekly and once on weekends to the Montreal Metropolitan Airport. St. John Airport CEO Court Edinburgh says the deal will mean travelers can leave St. John on Pascan in the morning and arrive in Vancouver by lunchtime on a Porter plane through one booking.
Our flights that we have now are almost at capacity or at capacity, and all of our studies that we do on a daily basis, and we have consultants that help us with, the airlines themselves do it, all the data points that there is a ton of demand here.
The demand isn't just in St. John. The opening of the new Montreal airport is bringing additional Porter flights to Halifax, Moncton, and Charlottetown.
We couldn't be more excited than we are for opening a design from scratch terminal in Montreal, in Montreal Metropolitan Airport. And part of that is our own rapid growth into a dozen destinations in the first month.
Porter Airlines Vice President Andrew Pierce says the additional flight will give Maritimers easy access to Montreal, similar to Billy Bishop Airport in Toronto. He also says the new flights are timely with high summer demand. Avery McRae, CTV News, St. John.
Thank you, Avery. Time for a quick little break, but when we return, your complete Maritime weather forecast. And I'll give you a hint. You're going to need your umbrella. Kaylin Mitchell will have all the details for you when we come back. Wednesday night, 28th day of April, and it was cool today, and I guess it's going to be cool and wet as the week winds down.
That's right. To close out the month of April and to start the month of May, we have a round of rain that's going to be making its way across the Maritimes. We did have some showers in some areas today, but this next round of wet weather is with this very long, extended, and slow-moving series of weather fronts that are off towards the west of us, and bringing rain already to parts of southern Ontario, areas of Quebec, and headed in our direction. So taking a look at our timeline for cloud cover and precipitation for the remainder of tonight around the Maritimes, it is going to be a cloudy and cool one for the region. Might be a few spotty showers out there. And tomorrow, some patchy drizzle for the province of Nova Scotia. Cloudy sky across the Maritimes. Well, mostly cloudy. The sun may peek through a little bit for parts of the east of New Brunswick, Prince Edward Island, and some areas to the north and east of Nova Scotia. By Thursday afternoon, though, the rain will be on our doorstep, first arriving in communities in the west of New Brunswick and the southwest of Nova Scotia as we make our way into and through Thursday evening. Now, as we head through Thursday night and into Friday morning, the rain, drizzle, and fog is going to become more widespread for the region. It's expected to be a pretty rainy day on Friday before the wet weather begins to clear Friday night into early Saturday morning. It'll be last out of Cape Breton in the Maritimes. There may be some rain that lingers for Cape Breton straight into Saturday morning before it moves off towards the northeast. How about rainfall amounts of this weather system? In general, it looks like it could be a decent 20 to 40 millimeters for a large area of the Maritimes, maybe a little bit lower for parts of Prince Edward Island, the north shore of mainland Nova Scotia, and Inverness County in Cape Breton, but also potentially higher for a few spots if there's the presence of some downpours or a few small thunderstorms. And that includes the northeast of New Brunswick, the southwest of that province, and Halifax down the south shore of Nova Scotia. All those areas right now underneath a special weather statement by Environment Canada. Now, winds in the forecast for both tonight and for tomorrow remain out of the southeast. Tomorrow's wind gusts will be mostly in the range of 20 to 40 kilometers per hour, but could peak closer to 50 kilometers per hour on parts of the Bay of Fundy coastline in New Brunswick and parts of the southwestern Atlantic coastline of Nova Scotia. Low temperatures in the forecast for tonight will be mostly around the low to mid single digits, and then highs in the forecast tomorrow in the north of New Brunswick between 10 and 13 degrees, a little bit cooler on the coast there between 8 and 10 degrees. 14 for Fredericton for tomorrow, 11 for St. John, 15 degrees for Moncton in the southeast. For Prince Edward Island on Thursday, the high temperatures 9 to 13 degrees, cloudy with sunny breaks. Again, the wet weather for PEI not arriving until later Thursday night and for Friday, as it will be for eastern areas of Nova Scotia, though for Nova Scotia for tomorrow, there is a chance of some patchy drizzle. Cape Breton with high temperatures of 4 to 8 degrees. The north shore of Nova Scotia with high temperatures closer to 12, 13 degrees, but on the eastern shore cooler with highs between 4 and 7. 13 for Truro for tomorrow, 14 for Amherst, and 7 degrees for the city centers, Halifax and Dartmouth. In the Annapolis Valley, high temperatures near 14 degrees, 12 at Digby, and for communities on the south shore of Nova Scotia, the high temperatures between 7 and 11. Taking a look at the extended forecast for New Brunswick. So rain, drizzle, and fog on Friday, followed by a mix of sun and cloud for the start of the weekend. Showers in the forecast for Sunday. Mix of sun and cloud to start next week. Milder temperatures, but a chance of showers on both Tuesday and Wednesday, that first week of May. For Nova Scotia, the forecast, rain, drizzle, and fog for Friday. And Saturday, it'll be a mix of sun and cloud. There's a chance of showers on Sunday, and then after that, a mix of sun and cloud on Monday of next week. Chance of showers on Tuesday, and a mix of sun and cloud, some warmer temperatures on Wednesday. And finally, for Prince Edward Island, the forecast, rain, drizzle, and fog on Friday, cloudy periods on Saturday, showers in the forecast for Sunday, mix of sun and cloud on Monday, and then a chance of showers on Tuesday of next week. Bruce.
Okay, thank you, my friend. We'll step aside for just a couple of moments, but stay with us. Be right back. Promise.
The #1 morning show in Halifax. Turk, Megan, and Amateur Alex. And home to the biggest artists. Halifax's #1 hit music station. 101.3 Virgin Radio.
So we all know you don't have to go very far in the Maritimes to find litter, coffee cups, and candy wrappers, and other items discarded that pepper our sidewalks and our roadways. Tonight, CTV's Jonathan McGuinness takes us to one community where residents took the unsightly mess right into their own hands.
Personal trainer Rick Horseman got a workout of a different kind this past weekend.
I put a call out to my members, and 24 of us showed up here, and we just litter picked up and down Cole Harbour Road from Otago to Cumberland, and we gathered 100 pounds of garbage.
Horseman, also known as Rick My Trainer, says it only took them an hour to fill their bags.
A lot of cigarette butts, a lot of flossers, those little tooth flossers, a lot of those, and just miscellaneous wrappers, plastic.
City spokesperson Jake Fulton says crews have been out since early this month, and they have a lot of ground to cover.
Through this spring cleanup, we will go through 1,500 kilometers of roadway cleaning, and that's about 3,000 kilometers of curbs that'll get cleaned, and then all the sidewalks and bike lanes that run along them.
The debris can't be cleaned up fast enough for Michael Hammer, whose daily walks aren't as pleasant as they could be if the garbage was gone.
They need bring somebody out there cleaning it up, I guess. And I'm not sure whose responsibility it would be, but it certainly does take from the ambiance of the area, yes.
Residents can call 311 to report garbage on municipal property. Anything on private property is the responsibility of the owner. Jonathan McGinnis, CTV News, Cole Harbour, Nova Scotia.
Thank you, John. Time for one final break tonight. Coming up, a rare blessing connected to the curse of Oak Island. First, though, it's your wake-up weather. Here's a live look at the Armdale Roundabout in Halifax. Feels like we're kind of going the wrong way here, doesn't it? 2 degrees right now. Caitlin will tell you how to dress for the morning next. It is Thursday morning, and we'll kick it off with a look at the wake-up weather from the one and only Kaylin Mitchell.
Yeah, thank you, Bruce. So, a cloudy start to Thursday around the Maritime region. Morning temperatures cool around the low to mid-single digits. There may be some patchy drizzle that develops for parts of Nova Scotia throughout the day. And then remember, Thursday afternoon to Thursday evening, that's when we're going to see the first of the rain arriving in western areas of New Brunswick and the southwest of Nova Scotia. Bruce.
Thank you, Caitlin. Well, the famous curse of Oak Island actually turned into a blessing for historian Charles Barkhouse. Fans of the popular show come from all over the world, really, to tour the famous site. And as CTV's Emma Convey tells us tonight, one of them may have saved Charles' life.
This is where it all began in 1795, and hopefully this is where it's going to end, one way or the other.
The global hit TV series The Curse of Oak Island is filmed here. It holds a special place in historian Charles Barkhouse's heart. He grew up in the area and has a passion for the over 220-year-old mystery. Last September, while guiding a tour, he also met his guardian angel here.
After the tour, we get back to the base area there, and a lady got off, and she was approaching me, and I thought she was going to ask me a question about Oak Island, but she introduced herself, and she said, "Could I examine your neck?" And she kind of felt my neck, and she said, "You got to call your doctor immediately."
Which is exactly what he did. After several tests, he was diagnosed with thyroid cancer.
They took the cancer out, discovered that it was a medullary thyroid cancer, which, if left undetected and untreated, will affect your liver, your lungs, and is fatal.
It's a rare and aggressive form of cancer. They also removed over 40 lymph nodes. 23 of those were cancerous too. He's thankful for the mystery tourist every day. Barkhouse doesn't know her name. Given the turn of events, he wishes he had taken her contact information to thank her.
Everything lined up. It was like a perfect storm that day. You know, everything lined up, and she was in the right place at the right time. And I wish she was here right now. I would thank her, because I'm telling you, she probably saved my life.
Emma Convey, CTV News, Oak Island, Nova Scotia.
Great story. Thank you, Emma. That is your late news for this Wednesday night, Thursday morning. If you tuned in a little bit late tonight, or you like to stay on top of the news all the time, ctvnewsatlantic.ca is always your home for news, and it updates right around the clock. I'm Bruce Frisco. Thank you for staying up late with us tonight. Have a good evening. I sure hope to see you again tomorrow.